The indictment alleges that those individuals facilitated the freak-offs. They booked the hotel rooms and stocked them with the supplies, including drugs, baby oil, personal lubricant.
Don't ever include baby oil in your love life. You are missing one of the great inventions. Baby oil ain't really for babies.
They be having these big mansion parties, and the mansion party, the whole mansion is a party, and then it's a separate party in the little rooms.
Did Steve Harvey know more than he let on? Why would a man who built his image on family values suddenly start endorsing something as innocent as baby oil for intimate use? Could there be something darker hiding behind what seemed like a harmless promotion? And why is this resurfacing now, just as Diddy's shocking stash of baby oil was uncovered by the feds?
And they seized cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freak-offs.
Is it possible that Steve Harvey, knowingly or not, played a role in covering up what was really going on at these parties? Could the product he promoted so openly have been a tool in Diddy's twisted gatherings? And most importantly, did Harvey help Diddy keep these events looking clean and safe for years?
They be having these big mansion parties, and the mansion party, the whole mansion is a party, and then it's a separate party in the little rooms.
So, what's the truth behind these secret rooms? And how deep does Steve Harvey's connection to Diddy's scandalous lifestyle go?
And they seized cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freak-offs. More than 1,000 bottles altogether.
Apparently, Sean Diddy Combs allegedly used baby oil laced with GHB, a drug infamously known as the Date R drug. These accusations have sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry, painting a chilling picture of what might have been happening behind the closed doors of Diddy's infamous parties. According to multiple lawsuits, including a recent one filed by Jane Doe, Diddy allegedly used baby oil laced with GHB to commit SA. GHB, or gamma-hydroxybutyrate, is a drug that causes drowsiness, disorientation, and memory loss, making it a common tool for PE daters. And Diddy's alleged method of delivering this drug is disturbing in itself, dousing his victims in baby oil infused with GHB so it could be absorbed through their skin without them even realizing. Now, this might sound like something straight out of a horror movie, but the details are laid out in these complaints. Jane Doe and several others have claimed that Diddy not only slipped GHB into their drinks, but would also use body oils and lotions laced with the drug to weaken them, leaving them vulnerable to SA. It's hard to imagine that baby oil, an everyday household product, could be used in such a grotesque way. But that's exactly what these lawsuits are alleging. The lawsuits don't stop there. The complaint goes on to describe how partygoers were often forced to consume alcohol laced with GHB at Diddy's wild late-night events. These drinks, including champagne and cocktails, would allegedly contain the drug, and victims would start to feel its effects shortly after consumption. One accuser, John Doe, described feeling the immediate and overwhelming effects of just one drink during a party in October 2021. This isn't an isolated story. Several lawsuits echo similar accusations, pointing to a pattern of behavior where Diddy and his team allegedly drugged guests to facilitate SA. This all came to a head when federal investigators raided Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami earlier this year. What they found during those raids has only added more fuel to the fire. Over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and other lubricants were uncovered, raising eyebrows across the board. To most, this enormous stash of baby oil seems excessive, to say the least, especially given the serious accusations surrounding its use.
Isn't it weird that the government was so interested in Diddy's baby oil that they took 1,000 bottles away from his house?
Of course, Diddy's legal team has been quick to downplay these findings. His lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, even tried to dismiss the large amount of baby oil found in Diddy's homes by claiming that Diddy simply buys in bulk because of his large estates. But let's be honest here, does anyone really believe that explanation? Sure, buying in bulk might make sense for things like groceries or toiletries, but when over 1,000 bottles of baby oil show up in the home of someone accused of using it to drug and SA people, it's not so easy to brush off as a mere shopping habit.
How do you explain the baby oil and the lubricants? 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
I don't think it was 1,000. I think it was a lot. I mean, there's a Costco right down the street. You know, I think Americans buy in bulk.
What makes these allegations even more unsettling is how the lawsuits describe the role of this baby oil in Diddy's parties. Guests were allegedly being drugged before they even knew what was happening. Their drinks spiked, and their bodies covered in oils laced with substances that would leave them vulnerable and defenseless. The idea of something so innocent and commonly used like baby oil being weaponized in such a horrific way is truly disturbing. Attorney Ariel Mitchell-Kidd, who is representing one of the victims, shared even more harrowing details in an interview. Her client allegedly encountered Diddy at a party where he used some kind of liquid substance from a bag or a fanny pack, squirting it on her without warning. At first, the victim thought it was acid or something dangerous, only to later realize that it was oil, potentially infused with a drug. This allegation matches the pattern described in multiple complaints, with Diddy using substance-laced baby oil as part of his essays. But the question on everybody's mind right now is, how does Steve Harvey connect to all of this? For years, Steve Harvey has joked about and endorsed baby oil on his talk shows. On the surface, this seems innocent, a lighthearted way to promote self-care. But now, with the recent federal investigation, many are questioning whether Harvey unknowingly or even knowingly helped make Diddy's parties seem safe. After all, who would suspect baby oil of being weaponized?
Don't ever not include baby oil in your love life. You are missing one of the great inventions. Baby oil ain't really for babies.
But why would Harvey, a man known for his family-first mentality, be connected to something so disturbing? Was it simply a coincidence, or is there a deeper involvement? Some sources suggest that Steve Harvey has long been a handler for Diddy's parties, helping him maintain his public image, while these freak-off parties continued in secret. But it's not just the freak-off parties that Steve Harvey has allegedly been handling. Recent developments in the reopened investigation into Tupac's death suggest that Steve Harvey might be the missing link to finally connect authorities to the person widely believed to be responsible for the crime. While it may seem like the information about Harvey came straight from investigators, it actually originated from someone who people believe knows exactly what happened to Tupac, Suge Knight. The former rap executive recently shared some surprising details about how Harvey has been deflecting attention from the individual authorities might want to look into. When the news broke, it quickly became the hot topic across social media. Nobody expected a figure like Steve Harvey to be involved, and the fact that Suge Knight has been in jail for years only made the revelation more shocking. Knight stayed silent for so long, not because he couldn't speak from behind bars, but because he was waiting for the right moment. When authorities recently arrested Keefe D, Knight felt it was finally time to tell the world what he knew. Most people assumed he would implicate someone dangerous or with known gang ties, but instead, the name that came up was Steve Harvey. Suge Knight seems to believe that Harvey may have been secretly manipulating things behind the scenes, ensuring that people were looking in the wrong direction for the culprit behind Tupac's. While Harvey might not fit the typical image of someone involved in something so dangerous, there are many people in the industry who don't view him as squeaky clean. Because of this, some fans are actually taking the news in stride. But others are left speechless, and their main question is, how could Steve Harvey possibly be involved in such violence? Let's look at what Suge said, along with details about others who may have also played a low-key role in Tupac's death.
What's up, Snoop? What's up, huh? Hey, whoa. Wait a minute, fellas here. Hold up. You know, I know all about this East Coast, West Coast rivalry thing here, but we in Chicago now.
Sure, Steve Harvey is a huge name in the entertainment industry. He's one of the many successful figures of color who have inspired younger generations, but despite his status, Harvey is far from what many would consider a stand-up guy. The celebrity host, whose reputation already precedes him, has now been called out by Suge Knight for being less than moral. According to Knight, even though Harvey has publicly expressed love for Tupac, it seems that behind the scenes he has been cozying up to and even protecting the person most people believe had a hand in the rapper's death.
If you love Pac so much, how you with the mother that everybody say got something to do with the first get down that happened to Pac in New York, then the second one. Does she want to bring up the source or what?
On top of that, Knight also accused Harvey of disrespecting Tupac's legacy by downplaying the East Coast-West Coast beef, which led to not only Tupac's but several other violent incidents. Back in 1997, there were headlines claiming that a comedian from the Midwest had been used as a peace broker during the East Coast/West Coast hip-hop rivalry, with the help of two of its biggest stars. That comedian was none other than Steve Harvey. In an episode of The Steve Harvey Show that aired on February 22nd, 1997, Harvey had guest appearances from both Sean Puffy Combs and Snoop Dogg, where they played out a message of peace and mutual understanding. The plot suggested Harvey was trying to bring these rival factions together.
We stop that. We stop a lot of this violence.
Yo, Steve, check this, man. All that East Coast, West Coast stuff is a bunch of media hype. It's been my dog from day one.
Unfortunately, the violence in the hip-hop world only escalated after the episode aired. Just weeks later, Biggie Smalls was in a still unsolved drive-by shooting. Now, Knight seems to believe that Harvey intentionally downplayed how serious the East Coast-West Coast violence was at the time. Also, Diddy could benefit financially. The East Coast versus West Coast beef in the 1990s wasn't just about regional rivalry, it was about power, money, and bloodshed, ultimately leading to the deaths of Tupac and Biggie. However, the origins of the beef are often misunderstood. In reality, it wasn't really about the coasts, it was about two states, New York and California. Tupac had ties to both sides, having lived in Baltimore on the East Coast. His beef wasn't with the entire East Coast, but specifically with New York. The beef started with Tupac and Biggie's once strong friendship. They were close, but one major event destroyed everything.
Around the time that Tupac got out of jail, Sean Puffy Combs was about to become, I would say, the East Coast version of Suge Knight with Bad Boy Records. You know, his first big artist was the Notorious B.I.G.
In 1994, Tupac was invited to New York to record some tracks with upcoming artists. But when he arrived at the studio, he was ambushed and shot. He claimed the attackers were gang-affiliated and that he recognized two of them as associates of Biggie. This incident ignited the infamous East Coast-West Coast feud. So, when Harvey used his show to downplay the violence, it felt like a betrayal, especially since some believe the guests he brought on the show might have had connections to the deaths of both Tupac and Biggie.
We actually loved each other. We loved the music that we made. It was just some differences between a few people.
It gets worse. During their appearance on Harvey's show, both Snoop and Harvey hinted that Tupac might not even be dead.
Who alluded that Tupac may possibly be alive. What you think?
That's good TV.
Snoop wisely avoided going into detail about that out of respect for Tupac's legacy. But many people felt it was inappropriate for Harvey to even bring it up in the first place. Over the years, there have been clues that Harvey might have been trying to sabotage the investigation into Tupac's death, always steering attention away from Diddy. It's no secret that there are long-standing rumors about Diddy's involvement in Tupac's. And when you consider Diddy's possible motives, like financial gain and eliminating competition, it starts to make sense.
I couldn't imagine what was being held on to all this time for them to be so curious that they wanted to go raid the spot.
Thankfully, more evidence has emerged that supports these claims. Authorities recently arrested Keefe D, a former associate of Diddy's, who was also there the night Tupac was. Keefe D revealed in interviews that he knows who was responsible for Tupac's death, pointing the finger at Diddy. Keefe D admitted he was involved in the incident because he was promised a large sum of money, though he claims he never got paid.
Supposed to be $1 million that Zip was supposed to bring back, but he ended up keeping the money. You guys never got any money?
Never.
For anything?
Nothing.
Keefe also told Puffy that he was low on ammunition when his house was raided, adding another layer of suspicion.
I said I was just going to get some bread from Puff to get us some guns because they kept on raiding our houses, taking our guns.
And there was informants that was listening to this whole conversation.
Yeah, they was there.
Despite all this, Steve Harvey has allegedly made it his mission to protect Diddy, cleaning up his image whenever the media tries to connect him to something shady. But when he is not cleaning up Diddy's image, Steve Harvey is allegedly pairing up his daughter with the disgraced hip-hop mogul. A while back, Lori Harvey sat down with E! News host Adrienne Bailon in a video interview released recently and said she often hears claims that she is in a relationship with someone whom she hasn't even met in person. Lori, who on a few occasions was spotted with the bad boy honcho, insisted that she never dated the musician. A revelation that has now left fans wondering if that was indeed a confirmation that Diddy may not be who we all thought he was. However, that was not the story in the media then. According to reports, rumors began circulating that Lori had started dating Sean Diddy Combs in July 2019. The pair were pictured together numerous times in Italy, Mexico, New York City, and Atlanta during their alleged romance. During one of their vacations, Lori was spotted with her arm around Diddy during a dinner with Lori's stepfather, Steve Harvey. Diddy's son, Christian Combs, even gave an insight into their relationship during a red carpet appearance, saying, "They are good, they're just being private time. That's up to them." While the pair never publicly spoke about their relationship, people close to them mentioned that they might have only been a fling as opposed to being a full-blown couple. Him and Lori had a fun fling, but Diddy is still healing and focusing on himself right now, an insider explained. He is not ready to be in a long-term committed relationship and is focusing on his kids right now. However, it seems all of that might have just been a cover-up for Diddy's alleged other S inclinations, as fans started to point out that Diddy used Lori for a different purpose than most of us think. One ex-user tweeted, "Y'all really think Cassie said a prayer and is an example when I really just believe she was Diddy's cover-up because he's gay, she's out of her contract, and now Lori Harvey up next." Anyway, back to Harvey's connection to Diddy. There are rumors that top-tier celebrities, including Steve Harvey, might have been paying off their victims to keep their own names out of the headlines. According to reports from sources, some of these celebrities are offering millions to keep their darkest secrets, like S-tapes from those freak-off parties, hidden from the public. You see, attorney Tony Busby, representing over 120 victims, recently sent shockwaves through Hollywood with a revelation that threatens to expose a network of high-profile individuals connected to alleged essays orchestrated by hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs. Busby has made it clear that his firm is preparing to publicly disclose the names of many powerful individuals who were either involved in or enabled these alleged offenses. However, the attorney has given these celebrities a chance to settle their cases with the victims before their names are revealed, hinting at a larger scandal that stretches far beyond Combs himself. Busby told TMZ on October 7, 2024, that in cases like these, it is in the best interest of the victims to attempt to resolve the matters privately without filing public lawsuits. His firm has already reached settlements with several high-profile individuals, many of whom are well-known celebrities. While the public is eager to know which stars might be involved, Busby has made it clear that he is taking a cautious approach, ensuring that when names are revealed, there is sufficient evidence to back up the claims. He explained that his firm is conducting thorough investigations to avoid any potential backlash or false accusations that could create a media frenzy. According to Busby, if you were in the room, participated, watched it happen, and didn't say anything or help cover it up, in my view, you have a problem. He emphasized that his team is aggressively pursuing not only those who committed the abuse, but also those who stood by and did nothing to prevent it. Busby stressed that there is a widespread issue of celebrities and other powerful figures witnessing these acts and remaining silent, adding all of these individuals and entities have exposure. The explosive nature of these accusations has led to rumors of celebrities offering hush money to keep their names out of the headlines. Busby's revelations align with a growing concern that many stars, desperate to protect their reputations, are quietly paying off victims to avoid lawsuits and public exposure. This attempt to settle matters privately mirrors what has been seen in previous cases, particularly in the entertainment industry, where powerful individuals use their wealth to evade accountability. Could Steve Harvey have been one of the celebrities paying off victims or helping to orchestrate these settlements to maintain his pristine public image? It's becoming clearer that the ties between Steve Harvey and Diddy's disturbing parties run deeper than we ever imagined. This baby oil scandal is only the tip of the iceberg. As the federal investigation continues, only time will tell what role Steve Harvey played in Diddy's disturbing events. Anyway, that's it for this video.